niceness. Okay, time for some crusty madness. After all this niceness, sorry guys.
Forces of nature. The 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 forces of nature.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, everybody. We are back once again. It is Sunday. Once again, we are about ready to hop into our lobby, and I'm going to be there on time this time. But if you are new, welcome to Week 5 of the Revo Endurance Championship. This is a favorite of mine. It is really, I would say, with other types of sessions, there's a lot more consistency. You get a lot more guaranteed action. Whereas on endurance events, it can be a bit more spotty. But it's kind of like soccer. You know, there's only those couple of goals, and it makes it a lot more intense when you have to wait for it to happen. So, I know we've got some endurance fans in the chat. I know we've got some people excited to be racing today. 14 people in specific, so we won't have an overflow. So we won't have to deal with, for example, doing the initial round of qualifiers. That is why we started a bit late. Now let me make sure I've actually got the standings here properly. But before we do that, I got the driver of the week. This was from Castle, and this was an idea brought up by Kiki. And Kiki also made the graphic for this, so shout out to Kiki. It was Stingox who won Driver of the Week for Castle. Now, unfortunately, there was a bit of a gap, so we don't have one made for Port Lamano 2. So that was my bad on not making it, but like I said, I don't think I have anything else lined up for the future. So I should be here for every single week, and excited to do Driver of the Day once again. We had BGM with 5 votes, so very close. But it was ultimately Stingox winning that. Now we are headed to White Rose Chapelle. as it is week 5 here. We are going to be on that classic Hilaire 9 track, and hopefully we're going to have some hilarious stunts as well. These are the scores as we head in. I am booting my game, and we are going to be hopping pretty much straight into the action. Now, I have to qualify that statement, because if you are new, we're not going to be hopping straight into the action, which might sound like it's contradictory to what I said, but there is action. It's just not what you're thinking. We have a little bit of an appetizer here before we hop in. It's the qualifier. So that is going to be based around best lap times. Whoever gets the best lap in the lobby gets to start our race. So it will be high intensity right from the very beginning, but our main endurance race will be starting after this qualifier. So I am trying to head into the lobby. I think we should be good to go, unless it's not open yet. I think I've got the password and everything, so that should be no problem. My game crashed. Okay. So, we do have the overall standings pulled up. In the meantime, if you're wondering what's on the screen, maybe you can't read. No, just kidding. Just kidding. I'm sure you all can read. You all seem like very upstanding people. But this is the total standings after 4 sessions. We have Famous with all 4 track victories. 2 of the times he got first best lap in the race, and 1 time he got 3rd best lap in the race. I was thinking the 1P, 2P, 3P was place, but it's actually points. How many points you get. So if you got the best lap in the race, you get 3 points. And it goes down and down until none. Okay, yeah, I did just try to join the wrong lobby. So shout out to y'all. I got that IP now. Thank you very much. And if you're unfamiliar with the Revolt Endurance Championship, you are also unfamiliar with the storyline, which is that Famous and Frostbitten are the only 2 people to win a race at the Revolt Endurance Championship for the past couple of seasons, maybe the entire time. But anyways, it's been a while, and it's only been Famous and Frost. We see here in season 4 wins by Famous, but that doesn't really tell the full story, because Kiki was actually incredibly close to taking a first off of Famous there on Game Room 2. We'll see if the situation changes here. I'm inclined to say not, and the reason for that is that White Rose Chapel is Frostbitten's favorite track of all time. At least as far as I'm aware, I think it still is. Unless something has changed. So Frostbitten, currently sitting in 4th place, only has 57 points to his name, 50 points behind Famous. But this could be a turning point here. After this week, we will be halfway through with our event. But if for example, this is Frostbitten's favorite track, if he's not able to perform, maybe a dark horse could steal it. I'm thinking about Kiki and Sting, obviously, since they are the 2 wedged in between Famous and Frost, points-wise. But Keela Baris's races have been nothing to scoff at. Nick is known to be able to do some crazy things. We'll see how it plays out. We are here in our lobby. I'll let y'all see the chat. Let's get a little remixing here for our audio. Y'all can't hear a thing. Okay, that should be a bit better. Okay. Also, y'all will be able to hear the in-game audio this way as well, which is perfect. So, in our lobby, we've got Frost, TT, Powerade, Nick, G, Laggy Rock, Ama, Ertzu, Famous, Makakowski, Kiki, Sting, and Keela. Now, if we're waiting, I could set up betting for who will win the qualifier. I know people are scared to bet again after what happened, but I was thinking, and I was like, maybe instead of just throwing all those channel points to the void, I just refund y'all. If someone other than, like, for example, we had like 5 people betting, and no one bet on the right person, so I could have just refunded y'all. So I won't make that mistake again. Don't worry. And we got a Frost fan in the chat, and I gotta tell you now, this week is the week to be a Frost fan. Here on White Rose Chapel by Hilaire9, Frost is basically in his stomping grounds, and if he's gonna get a dub in season 4, it's gonna start right here on White Rose Chapel. Okay, Frost is giving them 3 more minutes. So I actually can go ahead and try to do a prediction for us. Oh, we only have 10 options here. Okay, well, I can only do the top 10. Well, I'll give y'all 1 minute. If anyone wants to get a prediction in, you can do it while we have a minute or two. So, those channel points, options available for 1 minute. Again, Keela and Sting got the latest, so I couldn't add them to the poll. So if they win, I'll just refund everybody. And if somebody wins who nobody voted for, then I'll just refund y'all instead of like throwing all y'all's points away. Let's go, Ertzu. Okay, okay. Ertzu putting 100 point-a-roonies down on himself. Okay. Wow, I see you like to play the penny slots. I'm a big fan of the penny slots myself, so real recognize real on that one. You know, when you just got a few cents to spend, you just want to get that little rush. You know what I mean? Just the rush of winning something. So Ertzu playing for a pack of bubblegum here. 100 points on himself. And of course, this is just me trying to fill some time here because we have had some delays, but we're hopping straight in right at the perfect time. So getting those qualifiers underway. Again, if you're new, we're gonna have 5 minutes. And during these 5 minutes, every single person in this race is going to try to get a best lap time. If they start the lap at 4:59, it counts. They can finish the lap. If they start the lap at 5:01, it won't, and they have to stop. As we can see, Keela, Frost, and Kiki feeling confident. Kiki failing out of his first best lap attempt. Frost getting a bit stuck behind Keela, as it looks like Frost might have the faster line there. And Keela actually pretty happy about that. If he gets bumped forward and gets his speed increased by Frost and doesn't spin out. Shout out to Butt McGee in the building. Good to have you here. We are here with week 5 of the Revolt Endurance Championship. What you're watching right now are the qualifiers. We've got the Frostbitten Cam on as he is the favored racer for White Rose Chapel. We'll see how he does on this best lap. As you can see, best lap 49 seconds. They're only going to have time for about 5, maybe 6 lap attempts here. And Frost is going to throw another one away to the wayside. Keela is going to be hoping for one. Very nice, y'all. Okay, and at this point the drivers have had a chance to complete about 2 laps, and so we'll see how those preliminary best lap times are doing. Of course, you can follow along in the top right, but I'll read them out. We've got Keela with 47.82, Kiki with 48.02, 47.85 for Nick, 49.45 for Frost, 48.28 for Ertzu, 47.638 for Famous, 49.17 for Powerade, 48.069 for G, and a 47.482 for Stingox. So we do have a number of 47s. It looks like Stingox is our current best lap holder. Keela just did a 47.487 though, so it does look like pretty much all the best lap times are going to be above a 47. We're about halfway through our qualifiers here. As you can see, the race time has just exceeded 2 minutes and 45 seconds. All good, Kippy. It was just a quick little prediction for the qualifier, but we're going to do another. We're going to have about a 5-minute downtime, and during that, we will do another prediction for the race itself. And I was telling everybody, if you bet on, if no one bets on the person who wins, then I'll just refund all the points. I felt really stupid about throwing y'all's points away last time when people had bet like 20k points on someone and nobody that y'all predicted were the ones who won. Anyways, though, 47.461, Frost has officially got a better best lap than Famous for the moment. Everything else looking pretty much the same, 47.467. So Frost just 6 milliseconds ahead of Famous for his best lap, but Keela definitely in the mix too. That's definitely not going to be how he does it though. All right, so we got less than a minute left. We're at about 4 minutes 10 seconds right here. So Frost should be able to maybe do one more lap. 47.461 is still the best lap of the race. Makakowski improved to 47.272 for Sting. Okay, and Laggy Rock has bailed out. He is content with his 47.8. And flipping back to Frost because he should have time to finish this and then go for one more. And he does fail that lap. 10 seconds left. He is going to just have plenty of time to line up a new start and go for one more best lap. We'll see who else is able to do it. G is not going to be able to start a new lap. Actually, maybe he did. Maybe he just barely did. But Nick, famous with the 47.4, just barely beating out Ama here. And we're gonna see Frost Slap here, the remainder of Frost Slap. Now keep in mind, once the actual race starts, we'll be flipping around on people a whole lot less. We're mostly looking up there at the top right at their best lap times, because if you get the best lap in the race, you will start the official race. You will be the one on the pole position for the race itself. So Frost here, it's doing pretty good. It's not going to improve over his previous best lap though. Power 8 going to be aiming for one as well. Not going to be getting that. Sting, I don't think Sting should be racing right now. Yeah, 47.272 for Sting, and that is by far and away the best lap here. By about 200 milliseconds, it's the best lap. So Sting is making a statement with that one, because like we said in the pre-show, Frost and Famous are the two gatekeepers of first place victories here at the RVEC. So Sting, he's third place overall in the standings headed into this week. Kiki in second, but a very strong best lap time. And so apologies Ertzu, but those 100 points, no one predicted Sting though. So I guess we'll go ahead and send them back to you. Don't spend all 100 of them in one place. We had 30 points on G, really making a bold statement with those 30 channel points. We're just gonna go ahead and delete that prediction. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. We've got a bit of a downtime right now. Let's see here. Actually, we can check out the standings for a bit. These are the standings headed into White Rose Chapel. We are going to have hopefully a quick little graphic with the qualifying times on it, so you can see those best laps. Kiki usually does that. And again, I can't stress this enough. Kiki carrying the entire weight of the Revolt United art team on his back, solo creating all of these. Now, when we do our race predictions for who wins, I think we're going to exclude the people with the worst best lap, because we can only do 10 people. So I think TT with the 49, 48 from Power 8. Sorry to call y'all out. 47.86 for Makikoski. 47.85. So I think we're going to exclude Makikoski, Laggy Rock, TT, and Power 8. And everyone else is going to be in this prediction. I think I'm missing someone here. We got Frost, Nick, G. I might have done one person too many. I think we'll put Laggy Rock back in there. I think he had the... Okay, I'm gonna put Laggy Rock back in. This prediction is gonna be up for 2 minutes here. So, go ahead and place your channel points. This is who will win. Who will win White Rose Chapel? Okay, so I see I've got the results. I'm not gonna ask Kiki to make the graphic for me because, I mean, Kiki can do whatever the hell he wants. But if he is making one, I would love that. Okay, we got some predictions coming out. Oh, okay. See, I see Kiki. Excellent. I've got it. Qualifying results incoming. Let's see. Nope. Sorry about that. I am so stupid. Just save you. Oh my god. I'm not getting flustered over this. It's an image capture. Okay, sweet. Here we go. White Rose Chapel. Sting winning by a large margin. 138 milliseconds, in fact, is the margin between Sting and Famous. Frostbitten, who we talked about being the one to watch for, was actually 4th best lap. So 4th place actually is his overall position as well, as we can see here. The real main swap here is that Sting went from 3rd overall standings to 1st best lap, and Famous drops to 2nd. Actually, what am I saying? We have Ama here. Ama snuck in here into 3rd place. Ama is standing in at 9th overall, but Ama is very good at these best lap times. In fact, I think we can check back. I think he's got, yeah, on Supermarket 1, he got one of the 3 best laps. So Ama, good at the time trial for sure. He hasn't been able to string a ton of points together from the endurance itself, but definitely something to be said about his ability for time trial. Okay, and I think we have our predictions are all locked in here. We have 200 points on Air 2, 1,500 on Famous, 11k dropped on Kiki, 6.9k on Sting, and nothing on Frost. Okay. Wow. I'm saying finally a shout out. Thanks. Okay, so we are going to be hopping in shortly. And Prawnfoot with the signifier that they voted for Kiki, saying, "Thanks for predicting Kiki, guys. So many points. Wow." I do wonder if that was 11k from Prawnfoot or if there were other people putting their points on Kiki, but either way, I like it. We are going to be racing for 56 laps here. And so, shout out Urak, welcome in. And so basically, if it's been said once, it's been said 1,000 times, but there often seems to be new people trickling in and out of our streams. And so I will clarify, the qualifications that we just had for best lap, you're going to have a drastically different strategy and approach here on an endurance form of it. They're going to be going for consistency. 56 laps, racing with a great pace without messing up. That's the goal. Honk you here, yes. Thank you, Ertsu. That's right, Kippy. Okay, headed back into our revolt scene because our race is beginning shortly. You saw what I've just had up on the screen was the qualifications results. So basically what I was just showing was top to bottom who's going to start the race and who's going to be in the back of the race. And they're going to line up. Frost is going to give me the signal, and then I will begin the race. Then we went to the wrong lamppost, it seems. We gotta go to the other one. Alright, so everyone is lining up properly. I'm gonna wait for the go. Give a slight delay. Waiting for Frost to... And go. Sting wasn't going. Can I please... Can I... Like, look, y'all bitches need to get your situation in order. Like, how hard is it? First we got Famous, now we got Sting. Y'all need to focus in, okay? Whoever wins the qualifier, congratulations, but please focus the F in, because this is serious time. Sting, falling asleep at the wheel, he's regained consciousness, and he is ready to go up against Famous. They're already locked into a bit of a 1v1. Ama has fallen back just a bit. That was crazy. That was the most unprofessional scene I've ever witnessed. I'm gonna allow it though. And continuing on now, something that I do want to bring up is the grass, especially through that strategy. The grass seems to have some strange effect. You're gonna see the racers, especially through that part, driving on it. I think it might give a slight speed boost depending on where you're driving on it, or maybe it just keeps you closer to the ground. Definitely something to keep in mind because we're gonna have a lot of laps to kind of analyze what kind of lines these drivers are going for. We can see right away Famous going further on the outside than Sting, and it seemed to be working out quite well for Famous. Sting does manage to block him, but Famous closing the gap. I'm still trying not to crack up over that over the pole position scenario. So we do have the view from Ama right here in third. He's got a great little bird's eye view on this duel between Sting and Famous. Frost, of course, is in this mix as well. Gonna have to get a little bit more up close and personal though, because Famous is definitely going for some overtakes through that portion specifically. And it's not something particularly new, especially in the circuit section, or I'm sorry, in the circuit session in this week for the RVRL. We saw that U-turn seemed like the perfect time to go for an overtake. So we see this grass scenario. they've got... Okay. Famous on the outside. He does bring it back in for the turn. We've got a big double turn here. Famous looking to keep the edge. Maybe a little bit on the inside. No, he's good to go. The double U-turn. Ama is indeed gaming. And Sting, with the best lap time by a very large margin, has not been able to find the pace advantage here in the early stages of White Rose Chapel. It is Famous threatening to run away with it. Ama has fallen back and Frost has taken his place. No one put channel points on Frost, despite how much I hyped him up and said that this was his track. Let's get straight to business, all right? This whole event is about the imaginary channel points. Oh, that's right, DK. Yeah, you probably didn't have, probably weren't able to put any channel points on, but we do have a Frost fan in the chat, and Kippy's actually not one of them. I see you said Sting, Keela, and Laggy Rock. Now is not the time, though. Welcome in, Dogma. Okay, yo, shout out to chat. Y'all are going crazy. Let's go. Now, I do gotta stay focused in because Sting is aiming for a pass, but sure, let's put it on Frost. The chat has spoken. Kiki, a familiar face, up in these upper ranks, almost took a win on Game Room, was very close, ultimately came up short, is still fighting here on White Rose Chapel. Famous and Sting. This infighting between them is perfect for Frost. Every little push and pull is gonna get Frost a little bit further into that striking range for himself. Famous on the overtake. No longer neck and neck, but still in tandem for sure. Ama, Kiki. It looks like Kiki has mostly fallen out. All things considered, I mean, we're only here on lap 8 of 56, so don't let me get ahead of myself here. But 25-meter gap between Frost and Ama, and those early divisions are starting to emerge, where it looks like Famous, Sting, and Frost are going to be the main attraction. Ama doesn't think I give him enough shout-outs. Believe me, I'm fully prepared to give you one if you can make it happen. Okay, and it does seem like out of all the times, this would be a good time to check how the rest of the field's going. Ama and Kiki locked into 4th, 5th. G, we got 6th, 7th, 8th. G, Nick, Laggy Rock, Keela, Ertsu. I'm flipping back towards the front because I know we got action through this section. Oh my, Sting. Famous has not been able to shake Sting at all whatsoever. And it goes without saying that Frost has been sitting back, following along, not losing. Welcome in, Lukey. Everyone here is using the Toyeka today. These are personal Toyeka skins. either designed by the drivers or for the drivers. Famous, Sting, Frost, all rocking their own personal skins. Sting going for that U-turn overtake. He really wants it, nudging and nudging and nudging, and Frost takes one too, and Frost wants another, and out of nowhere, Sting with the overtake, Frost with the double overtake. Anything you can do, I can do it double that. And Frost gets away with daylight robbery. All good, Lukey. Sting not giving it up yet. Just like what happened with him and Famous, he was right there on Famous the whole time, waiting for a mistake, waiting for an inconsistency. He did eventually find it, but Frost capitalizing on that situation fully. And look at that breakaway. 4 meters of gap. We'll see if Frost is able to hold on to it. Frost, definitely the chat champion for today. And I've been hyping him up myself, saying White Rose Chapel, his favorite track. If you weren't here when I was showing the scores, Famous has won 4 weeks of 4 weeks here in the Revolt Endurance Championship. So while this may be a standout track for Frost, you definitely can't count out Famous. And look at Sting hanging with the best of them. He's 3rd place overall. Famous and Frost dominate the Revolt Endurance Championship as far as 1st place finishes go. Sting looking to make a statement here in White Rose Chapel of all places. You're exactly right, Dogma. Now, some people that we can't count out, Kiki as well as Ama, but I will say it looks like Ama has fallen back 60 meters behind Kiki at this point. And look at that racing. I mean, where else are you going to find Revolt racing at this caliber? I challenge you to find another place. These 3 have been putting on a masterclass of endurance racing so far. Lap 14 of 56. It hasn't been pushing. It hasn't been dirty driving. It's just been finding the gap, finding the opportunity, taking full advantage of it, and holding on to it. It's exactly what Frost is trying to do here. Sting is not going to let it happen, though. And this is kind of a mirror of the situation where Frost was able to overtake. Now we've got Famous just waiting back, and a mistake from Sting. He's going to lose a position to Kiki as well. And it's fallen to the old rivals, arch nemesis, of course, friends as well. But on the field, it's all business for these two. Frost and Famous back in a familiar position. Kiki maintaining for sure. Kiki cannot be counted out, and I'm sure if we check where Kiki is, Sting is going to be right there. Indeed he is. So, the clutter has subsided just a little bit, if you can call that clutter. I mean, they were in a beautiful straight line the entire time. But we have Kiki, a new addition to this grouping. Sting feeling the pressure. That's really all it takes. And how many times have you done that on Revolt? Seriously, put yourself there. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. And they have to avoid something like that. If they want to get first, they can't make a single mistake like that over 56 laps. I mean, look at this guy out in the lead. he's not messing up. Famous isn't either. Kiki's closing the gap though. But Frost is really taking advantage of the situation. It must be said. 18 meters out in the lead, smooth sailing. He's got the mental image of the perfect line that he wants to take. And he's got all the room in the world to make it happen. Was that a little bit of a curse? Oh, was that a little bit of a curse? Because all the room in the world just got turned into something a little bit different here. Best laps, I agree, Kippy. I want to check on them as well. Frost, I don't believe Frost has the best lap by a pretty good margin. He's got the 3.21, Kiki with 2.85, 2.95 for Sting. So as far as the front four goes, he's third. Watching from Kiki's perspective for a... I don't even know why I talk, dude. Like, I don't even know why y'all have me do commentary. They should honestly just be like, just silent feed. Just... Every time I start to say something, bro, I feel, oh my god, Kiki has fallen back quite a bit, and it's straight... I'm sorry, I can't keep my composure when something like that happens. It is Frost versus Famous, fighting it out for the... Let's keep our eyes focused on the action. Frost versus Famous. It's a classic battle. Now they've got nothing but room here. 40 meters over Sting. And there's Famous with the wreck too. The wrecks are coming out of nowhere. They looked so damn locked in. And out of nowhere, the nerves are just coming out. And the lines are not being hit in the same way they were. Except for one person in specific. That person being Frost. Frost has not had a win in the Revolt Endurance Championship so far. And we said... If he is going to start to make some recovery work and try to get a first place overall, he's going to have to start right now on White Rose Chapel, his home turf. And so far, he has been able to make that happen. He hasn't completely broken away. Of course, if we have one of these small errors like has been happening many times in the recent laps, this could, of course, the entire environment could get switched up as far as who is racing against whom. But for the moment, Famous, Sting, Kiki trying to fight for scraps in second. And Frost making a run for it out in first. Ooh, some clean driving from Sting. Really taking it very, very tight. Again, through that grass. Great execution. And it looks like Famous and Sting have broken away from Kiki. Ama has not put it away yet. 40 meters, still hoping to catch Kiki. Got some dreams. Nick, Keela, Laggy Rock for 6th, 7th, 8th. Ertsu Bivaway is back. Makakoski and G representing Latino America, fighting it out amongst themselves. TT has not been able to come up with too much, and he is gonna get overlapped here in a moment as well. 40 meters. Frost over Famous. And this is the race to watch. Famous versus Sting. Keep in mind, not quite at the halfway point, but it's approaching very quickly. It may seem on one hand like you've got all the time in the world, but it's really flown by quite quickly here. Another week in the books for RVEC. The story's been halfway written, but who's to say that there won't be a plot twist by the end of it? We've got Famous and Sting, Famous way on the outside. In fact, Sting was just looking better through the U-turn sections as well. That right before the U-turn was just looking super tight, super focused, and risking it. He overtakes Famous, and Frost lost some time. I don't know if there was a bump there. It might have just been a bit of a slowdown, maybe the U-turn. So he's still 40 meters out in the lead over Sting. But Sting, 8 meters over Famous. He's got to be feeling good about it. He has been nailing this sequence specifically. You say that, Kippy, about this not being Supermarket 1 for Famous, but he's been looking very strong on it still. I definitely agree with you. It's not his top track, or one of his top tracks, but is obviously has won 4 out of 4 races, can't be written out yet. Sting making a statement, though, by holding his feet to the fire for so long. We'll be flipping over to Frost for a little bit. We can see how this lap goes. If he gets a new best lap, it was close. And we can check out the other best laps. 3:21, 2:95 for Sting, 3:63, 2:85. And you know, I think you're right, Kippy. He doesn't have a very strong best lap either. And sure, best laps don't matter a ton in endurance, but he has been racking up those best lap points. Sting, he's been taking it so risky, and there it goes. Of course, I wouldn't, when I say so risky, it's a game of millimeters here. It really is. So hard to judge, but Sting, he's been looking so solid, but just not been able to hang on to it. Kiki, yes, Kiki indeed with the overall best lap. Hey, Sting, still keeping it close to Famous. This is still the race to watch. And let's see how far away Famous is from Frost at this point. He has lost another 20 meters as far as second to first. Last time we checked in on second place to first place. Very important sequence of the track. Famous going to go for some wall rides. Sting on the inside with some pushes, trying to take it. He's going to be on the inside again. He can't find it. Maybe right on Famous's bumper here. Inside. Holding it through the grass, but Famous pushing straight through his ass. Yeah. It was a really cool attempt by Sting, but I gotta admit, it was even cooler the way that Famous was on the grass, like, nah, kid. Nah, kid. He's like, nah, that's not how we're doing that. He just takes it right back. I agree with you. I agree with you, gamer. There it is. Now, can he hold on to it this time? He whips through that section. He whips through that section. But Famous, I mean, jeez, dude. And Sting even has to slow down to let him by. Famous just blocks him off like he's going for a parking spot at a crowded shopping mall. He's like, nah, that's my spot. Actually, that's my spot, bro. This is really crazy overtaking by Famous. just when you think that Sting it has got a comfortable position, Famous takes it right back. Kiki, 60, 75 meters behind. And indeed, Frost is very thankful that this is happening between the two of them. He's absolutely very thankful of it. Okay, Sting's gonna go for it again. Oh my, Famous on the inside that time, of course. Okay, Sting not able to replicate that push that Famous had. That pushed him right out of whack. Headed into lap 30. Time is ticking as they brawl it out for second. Frost going to continue extending that first place lead. Round and round we go, and it's coming up again. Steez Camp. Oh my god. Thank you for those 5 subs. Jeez. Yo, shout out to Steez Camp. I gotta mention, for those of you who don't know, we have the Revolt Racing League going on right now, but I have to shut the hell up because Sting is trying to find an overtake. He's not going to find it. Okay, we have just a second here. Thank you so much, Steez. All of the money that I get from those subs is going to the prize pool of the RVRL. Sting on the inside out of nowhere. We haven't seen that spot be the overtake spot. We haven't seen it be the overtake spot, but Sting makes an opportunity out of nothing. But will he hold on to it? Because he hasn't been able to hold on to it so far. Famous really looking out of whack there. But yeah, cheers to Steez. I think we're up to 25 subs now. So if you take 25 and you multiply it by 2.5, that is the amount of dollars that y'all have contributed with your subs to that prize pool. Crazy considering Revolt has never really had that much of cash, you know, tournaments or anything. It's all for the glory, but it's also pretty damn cool when it's for money too. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of cool. So thank you all so much for the support. Crazy out of Steez. I will shut the hell up until the race ends about it because I know y'all are like, goddamn, please be quiet. So I will do that now. But yeah, that's great. Now in the meantime, Frost has not escaped the clutches of Sting and Famous. Now it's definitely looking good. Don't get me wrong, but it's not surpassed 100 meters yet. Steve saying was specifically for the prize pool, bro. I'm not gonna cry on stream. If that's what you're trying to do, I promise I'm not gonna cry on stream. We gotta focus in though. An incredibly important sequence. We got the double U-turn as well, but Sting looks like he's gonna have smooth sailing through it. The grass section as well, tricky. Famous spinning straight through it. Sting doing all right enough. Kiki, 50 meters. Frost clutches these. All right, Mike, we'll see. I would be inclined to agree with you. Out of the contestants in the RVEC, we do have a number of contestants who have nerves of steel, and Frost is one of the people who I would describe as such. So if he can go into the final laps with the type of lead that he has right now, I think it's no question that he's going to be able to clutch it out. But will he find the focus that will get him to those final 5 or 10 laps? We are headed into lap 35 of 56, so we got about 21, 22 laps left to go. Very true, DK. Well said. Nerves of Sting as well. Y'all got the puns today. So Kiki still holding on to fourth, but you can see this podium is really where the action's at. We've kind of not been giving enough coverage to the other racers, and I would like to do that in just a moment here once we start a new lap. But again, so many microscopic battles up in the podium, just a game of millimeters, and it's been a real treat to see Kiki in fourth, Ama in fifth, 50 meters back, Keela trying to make something happen. He's dueling with Nick for sixth, and they could potentially catch Ama. About 50 meters all the way through. Laggy Rock, Ertsu, G fighting for ninth, Powerade out in 11th along with Makakowski. We've got back to Frost. We can keep our eyes on him for just a bit, see his lines. He's been on that 47.321 for a long time now, not setting any new best laps, but it's all about consistency and pace, the combination. A TT I just saw. I didn't know if it was. I didn't know if what this. I figured it was just a DC, but hate to see that, TT. Good to have you in the chat, but hate that it's under these terms. In the meantime, Sting. He's. I mean, all things considered, he's pretty much doubled that lead that he's got on Famous. Famous taking that sequence a little bit questionably to me. Of course, who am I to be questioning Famous? But it does look like Sting has a little bit of an advantage. I don't know if he heard me say that, but right when I said that, Famous tapping on some corners too. Oh my, am I getting in his head? Is our operation working, Sting? Oh, I guess we'll have to weigh back in a little bit. For the moment, Sting, look at that distance from Frost. He's cut it down about 20 meters. Okay, let's see how Frost is doing. Exactly, Kippy. Here, when you gotta do 56 laps, sure, to best lap, it does make a statement. It gets you a couple points, but consistency is key. A 47.124 best lap for Sting. Absolute blistering pace. 163 for Famous. They both got about 200 milliseconds over Frost as far as best lap goes. 125 for Kiki. Look at those numbers. And they can't do anything to challenge Frost. I agree with you, Dogma. A lot of the times in these endurance races, you'll see first place out ahead 200, 300 meters. Maybe you'll see infighting for second, third, maybe for third, fourth, maybe fourth, fifth. But besides that one fight, there's usually pretty big skill gaps, but the cracks are just not showing for these three players. Famous, Sting, and Frost. 40 laps in, and there's less than 100 meters of gap between the three of them combined. So that's definitely saying something. I'm doing, you don't understand, Kippy, I'm literally doing I'm pulling out every trick in the arsenal to try to cast or curse Frost, and nothing is coming up. I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm doing everything I can up here. Joking, of course. I know we've got a lot of Frost fans in here. I'm totally joking. But still, the battle is on. Frost, Sting, Famous. And I guess we've got a second here because the race has kind of pulled away between the three of them. They do still have maybe one wreck of distance between each other, but things have quieted down on lap 41. Nick, Keela for 6th, 7th. Laggy Rock trying to get in there. Laggy Rock, known for his unique driving style. Usually does not get anywhere near the best laps of these other races, but can get a good number of positions based on pace alone. And so he's sitting in 8th, feeling decent, probably not amazing about that, but decent. G in 9th, can't be feeling too good about that. Ertzu, Makakazi, Powerade, not able to make it happen. And so Sting is down to 35, 40 meters away from Frost. And you may or may not remember, but there was a time where we looked at that section of the track and Frost was 40 meters ahead of Sting. So he's not out of the woods yet. There's a bump, too narrow on the turn. It's not going to be a pass by Sting, but it's definitely going to be raising the stakes. And guess what? Famous is nowhere to be found. 50, 60 meters out ahead is Sting, chasing down Frost with everything he's got. Ryal's coming close. You said by lap 48. There it is. There it is. And I believe you and Frost are buddies to the point that y'all even play WoW together sometimes. So that's kind of crazy that you would curse him like that, but it is coming out. That's just like ruthless, but yeah. Okay, and the question that we've all been asking is now searching for an answer. Is Sting going to be able to find the pass on Frost, or is Frostbitten going to be able to hold on to those nerves of steel that I've referenced? I mean, the guy is unflappable on some days. I love that. I love that, Riles. Okay, we're approaching the 10 laps left point. And the landscape of our competition has been changing in recent laps. It was all about the battle between Sting and Famous. It's slightly changed now to Sting and Frost. And of course, we had that narrative at the beginning of our session between these three racers, and we had one other in the mix too. Amma was in there early on. He did fall out. Kiki replaced him. Kiki fell out, but Frost, Sting, and Famous have kept that fire burning. And of course, impossible to look away from this one. Sting. I said that we weren't going to see a sub 47 best lap, but Sting is trying to make miracles happen. 47.088 is his best lap right now. He is blistering through this track. Frost has set a new best lap, but it's only a 47.306. Sting is blazing through the chapel, setting it ablaze. In a non, iconoclastic kind of way. Dogma, I hate it. I hate it. And now is the time. I don't know. Maybe YOLO, maybe try to hold it. Because there's only 10 meters between Frost and Sting. Important section, like we've been saying. The double turn, straight into the double U-turn. Sting was looking a little bit bumpy, but Frost was looking a little bit on the outside as well. Sting taking the grass section very, very tightly. And Frost with the bump, Sting with the overtake. It's done. It's a done deal. Now, of course, this duel isn't done, But you know, sometimes you try to go for the overtake and you end up neck and neck, or you end up right on his fender. That's not gonna happen this time. Sting does get the clean overtake. And he's got 5 meters of gap between him and Frost. Welcome in, Maddie. Hate to hear that. Yeah, we were talking about waiting for you. So Sting has done it. But holding on to it is another question entirely. Sting has not been one who has had a completely perfect race here on White Rose Chapel. He has had some bumps and some bruises. Frost has as well. Famous has as well. But time is winding down and Sting is racing on pure adrenaline. We've got Famous, Kiki for third, fourth. That's all I can look at for now because this situation can blow up in an instant. Agreed, Dogma. Okay, Frost. Ooh, whipping it through. Lap 50. Sting holding steady, but at the same time, that number has not wavered from 5 meters in the past 2 or 3 laps. Two different lines. Pretty much equal. Beautiful grass. Beautiful turns. Sure, slight bump for Frost. There's 10 meters. Lap 51. It feels like a countdown. Quick glance. Nick Kila. Fighting in the backfield still. And eyes are back on Sting and Frost. The race for first continues. This could be a monumental occasion in Revo Endurance Championship history if Sting were to take a win, especially on Frost's home map. This would quite literally change the course of history. It would be breaking up a very long-standing first place dominance held by both Frost and Famous. And it would be monumental. A lot of pressure riding on this. Sting, a year ago, a season ago, back in Game Room 2, had a first place in the palm of his hand, just couldn't find it. Frost has wrecked. Frost has taken one of those turns just a bit too tight, and on lap 52, headed into lap 53, Sting has now got a 25-30 meter advantage. All eyes on Sting here on lap 53 with what is most likely the best lap in the session. Unfortunate to hear Riles for sure, but very good analysis at the same time. Riles weighing in and saying that Frost was consistently doing a bit better last WRC. We've got the cheers coming out for Frost, though. It's not done yet. Sting has to do 2 more laps, and Frost has been holding on to that 20-25 meter gap between him and Sting. This is not done yet. Analysis be damned. I am not only a caster, but also a chat interactor. Give me some cheers if you want some cheers for Frost. Okay, in all seriousness though, lap 55 of 56, Frost is 50 meters behind Sting. Famous, in fact, is 40 meters behind Frost, and Frost has had another minor wreck, and so has Famous. The two men of steel nerves are choking right now. Famous and Frost, two titans in the endurance scene. And they are both equally choking. We've got Kiki out in fourth, big lead, big fight backfield, which we will tune into once this race ends. But for now, look at that number tick up for Sting. This is all but over unless Sting has a catastrophic event. His keyboard dies. A fire breaks out. These are the kinds of scenarios that could change Sting from winning this session, and this is again a huge moment for RVEC if he's able to do so. Let's get the camera on him as he tries to finish it out. The cheers are coming out for Frost. The chat is full force behind Frost, but everything is coming up Sting. He does get a tap on the corner. Full recovery. Shout out to chat. Yeah, I've never seen cheering like that for a racer before, and not even just at the end, but just in general. Y'all were full support behind Frost. It was really fucking cool to see, and shout out to y'all. I'm sorry that Frost couldn't do it. This is huge for RVC, but a sad moment for Frost for sure. Alma, Nick, Keela is going to be our 5th, 6th, 7th. Laggy Rock has passed up G. Airtsu finishing up in 10th. And look at that. Even in the backfield, these racers were not even a lap down. Which is, you might think that that's not saying something, but actually that it very much is saying something. When the racers, even in the backfield, are that close towards the racers in the front. So really, every single person in that lobby should give themselves a serious pat on the back. GG's coming out, and in fact, that was Power8 saying most boring endurance ever, but I think it was quite the opposite of that. So I find that comment kind of ironic because that actually was one of the most exciting endurance events for me in my entire time casting them. So that was definitely cool to see. I'm glad that chat was out in full force because y'all caught a really great battle. I know it sucks that Frost didn't win because a lot of y'all were Frost fans, but I mean, he put on a show. Check out Best Laps, very good point. I was so excited by what happened, but 306 for Frost, 163 for Famous, 125 for Kiki, 473 Ama, 507, 563. It is looking like Sting out in first, and Kiki second, Famous third, unless someone backed out that we didn't catch. Y'all were all chatting so much that I'm sure I missed some of it, but I saw a lot of support for me as well. So thank y'all for that. I love to cast Revol, and that was a pleasure of a game. So I'm so happy that so many people got to see that. I agree with you, Dogma. Especially good endurance to watch. As for getting those standings to y'all, hey, don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Wait. We've got driver of the day. I just remembered. We've got driver of the day. I fucking forgot to do it. But please, if you want to leave a who you thought deserved driver of the day. Now, the one catch is the person who won the race cannot be driver of the day. And so I'm just going to put the people that we spent most of the time with the camera on. Frost, I'll just name everyone who I remembered because I kind of fucked this up. But still, I'll go ahead and add a couple people. And if you've never been to my stream before, this is totally par for the course. So don't feel like I'm freaking out. I'm always in freak out mode. So we got, okay. I think I've got most of the people. If your name's not on here, I'm sorry. But I got most of the people. And be sure to vote for who you think should be driver of the day. Shout out to Kippy. Cheers. And shout out to Steve's Camp, gifting 5 subs. Again, all that money goes towards a Revolt Racing League prize pool. And Steve's even said that was why he did it. So huge shout out. Of course, the 5 gifting people 5 subs as well is cool. They get the Revolt pickup icon and they get these cool things. So shout out to Frost, of course. Cheers to Frost. Go ahead and have your voice heard on that straw poll. I kind of already have a feeling of who it might be that wins that straw poll. I'm not going to go ahead and say who that is because I don't think it needs to be said. BGM saying Lagger driver of the day. I would have loved, I wish that we could get the camera on everything because, again, today I felt like it was so focused in on just 3 or 4 people, and that sucks because some people, even though they're not racing for that front, they still have incredible moments. So, again, shout out to everyone who competes. If you didn't get on the camera much, I'm sorry, and, you know, still super appreciate you showing up and competing every single week. And we'll be back with Revolt Racing League Division 3 Wednesday 18 UTC, Division 2 Friday 19 UTC, Division 1 Saturday 19 UTC, same time, same place. Revolt Endurance Championship coming up next week. Here's the track list. We got Urban Sprint 1 next week. Amma saying, give me my bets back. Let's go ahead and end that prediction and see if we had any winners. So Sting won, and Sting had 6.9 thousand channel points put on him by Amma, actually. So I don't know if Amma was the only person who bet on that. We're about to find out. But thank you for reminding me, Amma. I'm going to choose the outcome. It was Sting against all odds. So again, I kind of got lost in the sauce by the end of the race, but I wanted to again highlight just how monumental this occasion is. I believe we've had 2 full seasons at least without anyone able to beat Frost or Famous for first place. So Sting taking not only a first place but also a best lap, I do believe, getting 3 points for best lap for White Rose Chapel. And this was Frost's famous track, or favorite track. Frost's famous track. This was Frost's favorite track. So it just makes it extra surprising to see. You know, there's 2 sides of the coin. Obviously it sucks for Frost, but I know that Frost is a fighter and he's not going to take this too hard. Pick up the pieces and we keep going. We'll see y'all for the next Revolt Endurance Championship next week at Urban Sprint 1. That's it for me. Cheers again.